Good morning, dear students. In today's video, we shall try to understand lesson number 3 of your history, and in this chapter we shall study about political developments in South India, and the time period is from 700 AD up to 1200 AD. And in this chapter mainly we shall deal with the Cholas, about the Chola dynasty, about the different rulers, about the Chola administration, about the society, religion. These things we are going to study. So the Chola dynasty or the Chola rulers, the different Chola rulers, they ruled exactly from AD 846 up to AD 1267. In around 8th century AD, Vijayalaya, he was the person who established the Chola dynasty. He established the Chola dynasty with Tanjore as his capital. When Vijayalaya established the Chola dynasty in the year of 846 AD, he made Tanjore as the capital of the Cholas. He ruled from AD 846 up to AD 871. From 846 up to 871, Vijayalaya, he ruled. After him, his grandson, whose name was Parnataka I, and Parnataka I, he ruled from 907 to 955 AD. And Parnataka I, he conquered Madurai. Madurai was conquered by Parnataka I, and after conquering Madurai, he took the title of Madurai Kondavan. The meaning of Madurai Kondavan is the conqueror of Madurai. Next, under Raja I, he ruled from 985 to 1016 AD, and under him the Cholas became a paramount power in the south. In South India, we can say the Cholas, they became very powerful under Raja I. He constructed the Brihadeswara temple. I hope you have heard the name of Brihadeswara temple before in some other classes. This temple was constructed by Raja I. Rajendra Chola, the next ruler, who ruled from 1016 up to 1044 AD, he conquered the whole of Sri Lanka. You know, Sri Lanka is our neighboring country. The entire of Sri Lanka was conquered by Rajendra Chola. He built a new capital known as Gangaikonda Cholapuram. This Gangaikonda Cholapuram, it was built on the mouth of the river Kaveri, and it was made by Rajendra Chola. Rajendra II, he was the last Chola ruler, and he was defeated by the Pandya ruler whose name was Jalavarman Sundara in the year of 1267 AD. So here we can see Vijayalaya, he was the first ruler. He established the Chola dynasty. After him, the next ruler comes Parnataka I. After Parnataka I comes Raja I. Then comes Rajendra Chola, and finally the last ruler, Rajendra II, he was the last ruler of the Chola dynasty, and he was defeated by the Pandya ruler whose name was Jalavarman Sundara in the year of 1267 AD, and with that the Chola dynasty was collapsed. The next very important point of this chapter is causes of conflict between the Cholas and the kingdom of Srivijaya. We can say the different Chola rulers and the kingdom of Srivijaya, they had to fight for different reasons. What are the reasons? See, it is given here. The Indian merchants earned a lot of money because of their trade with the Southeast Asian countries and China. When the Cholas were ruling, at that time the Indian merchants, they were earning a lot of money because of their trade relation with Southeast Asian countries as well as with China. But the problem was their ships passed through the Straits of Malacca. The Straits of Malacca, it was under the kingdom of Srivijaya. This was held by the kingdom of Srivijaya. When this kingdom created problems for the Indian merchants, the Chola ruler had to intervene. Now, when the ships of the Indian merchants passed through the Straits of Malacca, the kingdom of Srivijaya, it created problems for the Indian merchants. And most of these Indian merchants, they belonged to the Chola dynasty, or they were paying revenue to the Chola rulers. And that's why the Chola rulers, they had to take the side of the Indian merchants and had to fight with the kingdom of Srivijaya. They earned a lot of revenue from this trade. Here they means the Chola rulers. The Chola rulers, they were earning lot of money or lot of revenue from the trade which was carried by the Indian merchants, and that's why the Chola ruler took the side of the Indian merchants and fought with the kingdom of Srivijaya. That was the reason or the causes of conflict between the Cholas and the kingdom of Srivijaya. Moving to the next point, the Chola government. The Chola government, or we can say the Chola administration. Administration or government, we can say same only. The king was the head of the central government. During the Cholas, the king was the supreme. He was the overall and he was the head of the central government. They divided their empire into 6 provinces called mandalams. At present time the entire country is divided into states. In the same way, at that time the entire empire was divided into total 6 provinces or 6 states, and at that time they were known as the mandalams. Again, each mandalam was divided into number of districts. The system is same like today, just the names are different. Now, country is divided into states. At that time, country was divided into provinces and they were known as mandalams. Now, states are divided into districts. At that time, states were known as mandalams, and these mandalams, they were divided into number of districts depending on the area or the size. The village was the smallest unit of the Chola administration. We can say the smallest unit of the Chola administration was the village, and in the village also we can say in the village also 3 assemblies were there. One was Ur, one was Sabha, and another one was Nagram. These were the 3 assemblies or 3 divisions of the village administration. So that's about the Chola government or Chola administration, where king was the head. Empire was divided into provinces called mandalams. Mandalam was divided into districts, and village was the smallest unit of Chola administration, and the village administration was again divided into 3 groups: Ur, Sabha and Nagram. Next comes about the Chola society. During the Cholas, the Brahmins and the merchants were the most respectable section of the society. We can say in the Chola society, the most respectable position was held by the Brahmins and the merchants. The traders enjoyed great respect. After the Brahmins and the merchants, the next position was occupied by the traders or the businessmen. They were also given respect in the society. The women were honored. Under the Cholas, the women, they were honored, they were protected, and even they were imparted higher education. But the laborers and the peasants formed the working class. These laborers, the lower class people, and the peasants or the farmers, they formed the working class, and they were very poor people. The Shudras, I hope you know that in Hindu society, there are 4 castes: Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and the Shudras. The Shudras, they were treated as untouchables. About untouchability, you already got in the earlier chapters. So in the Chola society, no doubt Brahmins, merchant, traders, even women were respected and honored, but the Shudras, they were treated as untouchables. That's about the Chola society. Well, the next important point of this chapter is about the religion. Which religions were there under the Cholas that we are going to study. Mostly the people followed Hinduism. So you can say under the Cholas, Hinduism, it was the most important religion or most popular religion. Besides Hinduism, Buddhism and Jainism also existed. So you can say Hinduism, it was the most popular religion, and after that Buddhism also existed, and some people, they also followed Jainism. Christianity and Islam were also gaining followers. No doubt they were not that much popular, Christianity and Islam, but some people, they also started to follow the religion of Christianity as well as Islam. The Alvars popularized devotional songs of Vaishnavism, while Nayanars sang hymns in praise of Shiva. About the Alvars and the Nayanars, we shall discuss in detail in some other chapter. Let me tell you, these Alvars and Nayanars are 2 branches of Hinduism. Alvars, they are the devotees of Lord Vishnu, and the Nayanars, they were the devotees of Lord Shiva. So these Alvars, they started to popularize, or they started to make the devotional songs of Vaishnavism popular, and the Nayanars, they started to sing different devotional songs in praise of Lord Shiva. And during the Cholas, different religious teachers were there, and among them the best known teachers of this period were Shankaracharya and Ramanuja. These 2, Shankaracharya and Ramanuja, they were the most popular or the best teachers during the Cholas. About them also it is there in some other chapter of history. I shall explain you then. So we can say that no doubt Hinduism was the most important religion under the Cholas, but the Chola rulers, they were tolerant about the other religions, and that's the reason why the different other religions like Buddhism, Jainism, Christianity as well as Islam, they also existed, though the main religion was Hinduism. That's about the religion during the Cholas. Now we are going to study about the last part of this chapter. It is about agrarian expansion in Tamil Nadu. What is the meaning of agrarian expansion? Is development in agriculture. The simple meaning we can say agrarian expansion means development in agriculture. The Cholas paid great attention to the promotion of agriculture in their state. We can say the Cholas, they ruled in the South India, in the Tamil region. So we can these Chola rulers, the different Chola rulers, they paid attention for the promotion of agriculture. They paid attention to irrigation. I hope you know what is the meaning of irrigation. Irrigation means supplying water to the crop fields, either from the rivers or from the canals. So for the development or for the promotion of agriculture, the Chola rulers, they also gave attention to irrigation. They carried out survey of land. Survey of land means they started to know the quality of land to fix the revenue as well as for the production of different crops. The cultivators were provided loans to meet emergencies. During emergencies or during any type of natural calamities, the cultivators, they were provided loans or money, we can say, so that they can meet the emergencies and they can cultivate crops. The grant of rent-free lands to the Brahmins did wonder. Rent-free lands. The Chola rulers, they gave land to the Brahmins without any rent. That's also one added benefit for the agrarian expansion, because when these Brahmins got the land without any rent, they took the help of the nomadic people as well as the semi-nomadic people or tribes and cleared the jungles and brought more and more land under cultivation. So you can see here the Chola rulers, they gave the different forest lands to the Brahmins without without charging any rent. And when the Brahmins, they got this land, they took the help of the nomadic people and the semi-nomadic people. Nomadic means the people who generally do not stay in a particular place for a long time. But now when the Brahmins, they took the help of these nomadic and semi-nomadic tribes, they cleared the jungles, they brought more and more land under cultivation, and also these nomadic and semi-nomadic groups or tribes, they settled down in a particular place. So that's the reason why we can say that under the Cholas, there was much agrarian expansion in Tamil Nadu or in the South India. So that's about the chapter. Now you need to go through the chapter, read it properly. If there is any doubt, you can definitely get it cleared from me. Thank you.